जय हिंद जय भारत, जय हिंद जय भारत, जय हिंद जय भारत.
Jihad is the avowed aim of the Pakistan Army. There are tens of books on how jihad should be fought, written by Pakistani Army officers. What I am trying to say is that the Pakistani Army is the Taliban, it is the Al-Qaeda, it is the Islamic State. That country was raised and bred on American dollars. But at the same time, the Pakistani media has been largely hypocritical. So Bhavya, what is happening is that, Imran Khan Niazi has come out with a new law by which any criticism of their armed forces, any criticism of their deep state, their establishment, the government, can result in some sort of a fine, cancellation of the permissions given to the media houses, etc., etc. This is essentially an attempt to muzzle the media, right? Pakistani Media Development Authority is the agency through which they will do it. Now, to my mind, I've never heard of a media organization or a media body called Development Authority. Development Authority is essentially for people who develop cities and all that. Yeah, like we have the Noida Development Authority or the Greater Noida Development Authority or the Delhi Development Authority, Brihan Mumbai Municipal Authority or something like that. So it sounds like a scam to me anyway, like something that the Pakistani Army, because it's very interested in land, right? And those corner plots of DHA. Not to make light of the situation, but I think this is something that the Pakistani Army could have sort of come up with and fired on Imran Khan's shoulders actually. Kept the gun on his shoulders and fired. What is essentially happening is that over a period of time, the media has become largely critical of Imran Khan because of the price hike. Of course, Imran Khan is incompetent. Of course, he's largely unable to manage the government. But there is also legacy. There are legacy issues. I mean, not that, Zardari or Nawaz Sharif did not do anything wrong, they did. But they were good administrators at least. At least Nawaz Sharif, though corrupt, that is what people say, that is what the Panama files say. While corrupt, he was a good administrator, and there was a certain sense of price control, there was a certain sense of things being in control as far as civilian government is concerned. Now, Imran Khan is totally sold out when it comes to their army. That's number one. Again, one thing, Bhavya, which I'd like to tell you, one thing very, very important about Imran Khan Niazi is that the more he gets cornered, the more he sees outside enemies. The more you corner Imran Khan, the more he talks about conspiracy. The more he talks about legacy, the more he talks about, oh, this did not happen because that did not happen and this did not happen because. And the spokespersons of the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, which is Imran Khan's party, also come on Pakistani television, and for every question which is posed to them, they have a standard block answer ki ji ye to Zardari ke samay ka hai, ye Nawaz Sharif ke samay ka, which may be true to some extent. But Imran Khan has been in power for 3 years now. It's no longer okay to blame legacy because he promised the earth and the moon. Now he's trying to muzzle the same press which brought him to power. Imran Khan is a creation not just of the Pakistani establishment, not just of the Pakistani deep state, the ISI and the Pakistan Army. Imran Khan is a creation of the Pakistani media and the Pakistani social media. Right? So as long as he was standing on the container shouting and screaming, and there was this DJ called DJ Butt who was playing all these music of all these songs of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, and the supporters of Imran Khan were dancing, that is okay, right? But now, if the same media questions Imran Khan, then it's not okay. But I also blame the Pakistani media because it is not all of them. I would not like to paint the entire media because we have good and bad elements in the American media, in the British media, in the Indian media. Similarly, you have good and bad elements in the Pakistani media as well. I would not like to paint everybody with the same brush, but at the same time, the Pakistani media has been largely hypocritical. The logic of me blaming the Pakistani media is, today Pakistani media is saying, ye Pakistan Media Development Authority ka kanun ye nahi hona chahiye, kala kanun hai, because it muzzles the freedom of the press. Now, for example, I have heard of so many, I don't know them, I don't know them, but I've heard of them. I've heard that Hamid Mir raised his voice and he was shot twice. There was a blogger called Asad Ali Tur. The ISI goons went to his house and they beat him up. We are aware of that. We are also aware of the fact that Matiullah Jan, another Pakistani journalist, was picked up, right? He was picked up and he was thrashed, and after 2 days of torture, 2 or 3 days of torture, he was released. And in Pakistan, over the past 15, 20 years, over 190 odd journalists have died. So it's not a safe place for journalists, by the way. But why do I call the Pakistani media fraternity? In spite of them having their very genuine heroes, people who have spoken against their army, people who have spoken against the government, the fact of the matter is that the face of the Pakistani media that we've seen very recently, all right, is a face that is hypocritical. So, this Pakistani media will go all the way it can to support a Taliban regime in Afghanistan. All right? This media, the Pakistani media, and all of them, almost without exception, except for 1 or 2 sane voices who are now very old and, like old people, they have seen whatever they had to see. 99% of the Pakistani, Taliban Zindabad and, Bharat ko bada sabak sikhaya. All this poison is spread by the Pakistani media, this pro-Taliban sentiment. The carrier is the Pakistani media. And what does Taliban stand for? Does Taliban stand for freedom of press? No, it stands for Sharia. It stands for muzzling of the press. They will kill reporters. They have banned female reporters from entering into the studios. And female reporters of Pakistan, female anchors of Pakistan support Taliban. Now, this is funny and sad both. It's not just funny, it's also sad. If you have a female anchor, and I'm not saying that the males should not oppose it, but I'm saying that females should understand that, their sisters in Kabul, they cannot enter the studio because the Taliban are medieval animals. Okay? It's not about India. Forget about India for a moment. Think about Pakistan, which is, your own country. So this media supports the Taliban. This media, the Pakistani media, says, fantastic, Taliban is doing a great job, this, that, because there is anti-American sentiment in Pakistan, for which I've never figured out why. That country was raised and bred on American dollars. And I can't for my life figure out anti-Americanism in Pakistan. It doesn't make sense. You take money from a country and then you say death to America. This doesn't make sense to me at all. And this America, which has not asked Pakistan to pledge even 1 square inch of land in lieu of the money that it's giving. Not 1 square inch of land. Unlike China, which has all the airports and all the motorways pledged to it, mortgaged. Half the country is mortgaged to China. But there is no anti-China sentiment. Right, Bhavya? So you see, the thing is that it is okay for the Pakistani media to support the Taliban, which hates the media. Anybody covering a protest is either shot dead or beaten up or tortured. We've seen images of people being tortured. This very Pakistani media says, no, these images are old. Indian media is doing propaganda. These images are old. These images are of Taliban 1.0. This is Taliban 2.0. This is the modern Taliban. This is the liberal, feminist Taliban. This is the nonsense that these people are spouting on Pakistan television. Right? Well, you gave covering fire to the Taliban. Right? Now reap the whirlwind. It's happening in your own country. It's happening in Pakistan. And today you're crying that Imran Khan is muzzling the media. He was called Taliban Khan. Imran Khan was called Taliban Khan. What are you screaming about? You supported the Taliban. So support Talibanization of Pakistan also. Don't be two-faced. Don't be hypocritical. Munafqat nahi honi chahiye. If you support, let us assume that Taliban is a mindset. All right? If you support that mindset in Afghanistan, and if you all out support that mindset in Afghanistan, why don't you support that mindset in Pakistan? One small law and everybody's up in arms. Why? Why don't they demand freedom of press in Afghanistan? They will not do it. That is the problem. Of course, Pakistani media drives. Media everywhere, Bhavya. Media in America drives the narrative in America. Media in India drives the narrative in India. Media is the carrier, right? It is the carrier of public thought. And so in Pakistan also, there's nothing different except for one thing. 1% of the Pakistani media will question. And 99% of the Pakistani media will, like obedient cattle, walk in line. For example, this whole thing about Kashmir that the Pakistani media does. They've never been to Kashmir. Right? They've never been to Kashmir. They're just pandering to local emotion. Because Kashmir gets you good TRPs, right? So you keep on doing Kashmir. It doesn't matter to the world. The Muslim countries have stopped believing Pakistan. China has stopped talking about. China never spoke about. China is interested in money. Let's be very honest. China doesn't care about Kashmir or Kanyakumari for that matter. China doesn't care about anything except US dollars, right? Nobody believes Pakistan's narrative in Kashmir, but their media is a carrier. So their media does propaganda for the deep state. And that is not my problem at all. If you choose to do propaganda for the Pakistan army, please do it. It's your army. Have fun. My problem is that they never question. They never look for logic. They never look for proof. So, for example, if Shah Mahmood Qureshi, who's their External Affairs Minister, or Moeed Yusuf, who's their NSA, gets on a podium along with Major General Babar Iftikhar, who's DG ISPR, and they say, quote unquote, India has terrorist camps inside India. They say those camps exist, for example, in UP, in MP, in Delhi, in Haryana, Himachal. They actually said that, I'm not making this stuff up. They actually said that. No media person will ask, sir, what is the grid reference? What are the latitude and the longitudes? What is the exact address and location? No media person will ask. And all of them know which questions to ask. So, all Babar Iftikhar has to do is show up wearing a uniform and his medals. Pakistan Army, he shows up and says, India is doing this, and they have these terror camps. And then suddenly that is the word of God because Pakistani Army has said it. And nobody will question. In India, when the Indian Army said, we have undertaken surgical strikes, they had to release a video after a few months. Balakot, they had to release a video. Because this is a democracy. I don't like it when my army has to release a video. I don't like it as a former army officer, but I understand that this is a democracy and we have to work in the framework of certain rules. India is not a banana republic. Unfortunately, Pakistan is. So, whatever the Pakistani army says, their media will always carry, without exception, the media will carry that narrative without asking questions, and that is my problem. Carry propaganda, if that is what you wish to do. It is your moral call. It is your ethical decision. If you want to carry it, fine. If you don't want to carry it, fine. But be logical about it. Be practical about it. Ask questions. Not because you're from the media. Ask questions because you're a human being. You're a thinking human being. You're supposed to ask questions. Even on Indian media, when we have debates, a lot of people say, well-meaning people say, how can you question the Indian army? And I, being an ex-army officer, always say, why not? The constitution is supreme. The army is a revered institution. The army is a respected institution. But the Indian army serves the people of India. The Indian army serves the constitution of India. The Indian army is above politics. We of the Indian army serve the people of India. We serve this great nation. We are not owners. We are not rulers. Right? We lead by example. We sacrifice, and that's okay. We are not saying that people should be holding us in awe because we sacrifice our lives for this country, because this is the path that we have chosen for ourselves. Nobody came to my house and said, Gaurav Arya, you will join the Indian army. Nobody said that. I chose it. There was a calling. I heard that call. I answered that call. And that's it. We are not doing any favor. Rather, India, this great nation, is doing us a favor by allowing us to wear this uniform. It does not matter which government is there. It does not matter. Today there is this government, tomorrow it's some other government. Governments don't matter. I'm talking about India, the country. The country did us a favor by saying that, okay, we find that you're worthy of this uniform, go ahead and wear it. So the point here is, the constitution of any country, whether it's India, whether it's Pakistan, or whether it's America, that constitution has to be defended. Sometimes that constitution has to be defended by violence. And it is the armed forces that defend the constitution by violence. And violence is the prerogative of the state. Now, the point that I'm trying to make here, Bhavya, is very simple. If the Pakistani media owes allegiance to the constitution of Pakistan, they should stop kowtowing to the Pakistan army, because the Pakistan army is not the constitution of Pakistan. The Indian army is not the constitution of India. Yes, the Indian army owes loyalty to the constitution, and the Indian army over the past 75 years has proven time and again that if there is a guiding principle that the Indian army follows, it is the constitution of India. Unlike Pakistan, where their own constitution has been torn apart and thrown into the dustbin by 4 military rulers. That is the difference that I'm trying to bring out. This conflict between the Pakistani media and the Pakistani state, or the Pakistan army, establishment, deep state, is not new. They have been in conflict for a long time, but they're always managed by special interests. So, Bhavya, the way it happens is that, yes, while the Pakistani media has been in conflict in the past with various governments and the Pakistani army, but it's a very fine-tuned and calibrated exercise. It's not what it seems actually. So there are 2-3 elements who will always go ahead and say that, nahi, ji, we stand for Pakistan and all that. 99% of them are not like that. So, when you cover Maulana Fazlur Rahman's Long March, I'm giving a name of one political leader of Pakistan. He's a Jamaat leader. Maulana Sahab does a long march in which there are 1 million people, 10 lakh people, all right? And he does it from Karachi, for example. Who's supporting him? In a country where you can't breathe without the army coming to know, who's supporting Maulana Fazlur Rahman? You think he can hold a march through Karachi without the blessings of the GOC 5 Corps? 5 Corps is based in Karachi. And do you think he can do it without the blessings of the GOC 5 Corps? No. So there are fissures, there are fault lines within the Pakistan army. And the media is a very large part of this. So if there is a narrative about Kashmir, the media carries it. If there is a narrative about the Pakistan army chief's 3-year extension, the media will carry it. If there is a narrative which is pro-Taliban, right, the media will carry it. Now, for example, again coming back to the Taliban, Pakistan supporting Taliban and the Pakistani media supporting Taliban, I find no logic. I find absolutely no logic, except for the fact that ISI managed to cobble up a government in Kabul. What has that got to do with the Pakistani media? I don't understand. Media should stand for universal human rights. Now, I am nobody to tell what the Pakistani media should do, but I don't understand what benefit Pakistan will get out of a Taliban government in Kabul. It's going to hammer the Pakistanis to the ground. Day before yesterday, the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan again attacked and killed 2 Pakistani army soldiers. And they're doing it with, I'm telling you, Bhavya, these attacks are happening with alarming regularity. And this is happening because the Pakistani society itself is getting Talibanized. It's very funny. Americans say, I was talking to an American brigadier general who retired, and we were having a conversation. He's saying, the worry in America is that, heaven forbid, should Pakistan's nuclear weapons fall into the hand of the Taliban. So here's a scenario. Pakistan has nuclear weapons, 200, 300, 400 of them, whatever, I don't know. It has delivery systems, it has missiles, Shaheen, Gauri and all that weird names, right? Now, let's say those weapons fall into the hands of the Taliban. And I told the brigadier, I said, sir, this is unlikely to happen. Pakistan will not let its nuclear weapons fall into the hands of the Taliban. The nuclear weapons are very well protected and defended. But there is another problem. And what is the problem? The problem is that don't look at Taliban. Don't look at Taliban as an organization. Don't look at Al-Qaeda as an organization, and don't look at the Islamic State as an organization. For a minute, humor me. Don't look at them as an organization. Look at them as a mindset. Look at them as a mindset. Right? Now, let us say the people who are guarding those nuclear assets. The general, the brigadiers, the colonels, the majors, the lieutenants, the captains, the JCOs, the NCOs, the Jawans, whoever is there, because the Pakistani army is directly responsible. Those people belong to an army whose motto is Iman Taqwa Jihad fi Sabilillah. Jihad is the avowed aim of the Pakistan army. Right? They have been taught jihad from the day they were commissioned from the academy. Or even within when they were inside training in the academy, that is what they were taught. There are tens of books on how jihad should be fought, written by Pakistani army officers and generals. So what I'm trying to say is that forget about the Afghan Taliban taking over Pakistani nukes. That's not going to happen. What I'm trying to say is that the Pakistani army is the Taliban. It is the Al-Qaeda. It is the Islamic State. That is what I'm trying to say. They don't need people coming from outside and taking away the nukes. You understand? That thing exists within the Pakistan army. That mindset of the Al-Qaeda. And the reason why I'm saying it is, you know why they found Osama bin Laden inside Abbottabad, 800 meters from the Pakistan Military Academy in Kabul? Because that mindset supports Al-Qaeda. It supports jihad. It is a jihadi army. And it says so. It says Iman Taqwa Jihad fi Sabilillah. Jihad in the name of Allah. And what does it mean? Kill the infidels. Those who do not believe in Islam must be killed. That is the teaching of the Pakistan army. This is not the jihad that the Quran speaks of. कि जिहाद अपनी नफ्सियात से होता है, जद्दोजहद है, fight against what is wrong, fight against your bad habits. If you are cruel, become merciful. If you are asking for interest on a loan, stop asking for interest. If you are selfish, stop being selfish. Jihadul Akbar, the greater jihad. That is not the jihad that they follow. This is jihad fi sabilillah, jihad in the name of Allah, the eternal struggle against the infidel. So there is no problem about the Taliban coming and taking Pakistan's nuclear assets. The people guarding the Pakistan's nuclear assets are Taliban. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think this hypocrisy of the Pakistani media, Bhavya, will ever end. And I'll tell you why. This is ingrained into their culture. It's a self-serving culture. All right? Let me give you two examples. One example I've already given you about the Afghan Taliban. They support the muzzling of the media in Afghanistan. They don't support the muzzling of the media in Pakistan. They support the muzzling of media in China. Have you ever heard any Pakistani top anchor saying that China should have a free press, China should have democracy? Have you ever heard any top anchor saying China should not subjugate and oppress the Muslims, the Uyghur Muslims of the Xinjiang province? They will never say it because they're getting money from China. You see, everything, they talk about freedom, the Pakistanis, the media especially. They will talk about Islam. Everything is for sale. It's a function of receiving US dollars. That's it. It's an exercise. Even Aman al-Zawahiri, we thought he was dead, right? That Al-Qaeda guy who sort of, after Osama bin Laden, who was appointed the chief of the Al-Qaeda, and the Americans, Joe Biden at least said that no, he's dead and all that stuff. He also said, we will do jihad in Kashmir, we will do jihad in Grozny, we will do jihad in Palestine. Did he say we will do jihad in China? 1.5 million Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang province in China are in prison for the crime of being Muslims. 3 साल के बच्चे से पूछा आपका नाम क्या, उसने बोला मोहम्मद, बोला जेल में डालो. 3 साल का बच्चा. What is that child's fault? Today, they have put people in prison for the crime of being Muslim. They are rewriting the Quran because Xi Jinping says that in Quran there are so many characters. Right? The Quran mentions Prophet Muhammad. The Quran mentions Hamza, who was his uncle, who was a lion hunter, a very brave man. The Quran mentions the Sahabas. Right? Hazrat Usman was there. Hazrat Ali was the 4th rightly guided caliph, if my history is not wrong. China's problem is, why aren't there any Chinese characters? Arey bhai, Quran Sharif was revealed in Saudi Arabia. How can there be Chinese in Quran Sharif? Now they're rewriting the Quran because they want Chinese to be there. And yet, Al-Qaeda does not say we will have a jihad there in China. Al-Qaeda does not say we will have a jihad in China. They will never say it. They will never say it. They want a jihad in Kashmir. Welcome. Swagat hai aapka. Aa jao Kashmir. किसी को गलत फहमी है, तालिबान को गलत फहमी है, इस्लामिक स्टेट को गलत फहमी है, अलकायदा को गलत फहमी है, यू वेलकम टू कश्मीर। वी डिड नॉट, हमने हाथ जोड़ के थोड़ा ना बोला था भाई साहब मत आओ कश्मीर में। यू वांट टू कम टू कश्मीर, यू कम टू कश्मीर, देख लेंगे, बहुत कुछ देखा, ये भी देख लेंगे, दैट्स नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम। ऑल आई एम ट्राइंग टू से इज दैट द पाकिस्तानी मीडिया हैज कवर्ड अप फॉर मैसिव ह्यूमन राइट्स अब्यूजेस of China in the Xinjiang province. It has covered for the muzzling of media inside China. All right? It has covered up for muzzling of media under the Afghan Taliban. But एक छोटा सा पाकिस्तान मीडिया डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी बन गया. So all of them बोरी बिस्तर लेके in front of the Pakistani parliament they are protesting. There is a very beautiful word for this in Arabic. It is called munafqat. Munafqat means